now I can say I'm back like 100%, and I don't want to wait anymore like long time layoff without fighting, so I'm ready to get back and have another title defense.
Was there any concern tonight when you came in that physically you might not be at 100%?
No. On my training camp, we tested my body for like the full power, and I knew for sure it's gonna be, it's gonna do everything needed. That's why it took a little bit, like few months more, to be sure that I will be back like 100%. But I knew it's gonna be everything fine. But now I know it more.
We're getting to the point now where people are surprised to see you lose rounds, basically. So what was going through your mind in round 2? Was there any concern at all that, you know, uh-oh, like what's going on here?
You know, it was not kind of like, there is some dangerous situations sometimes, and you are like, oh, this is a bad situation, and I don't know how to escape from this. And I was like, kind of like testing probably, seeing how it feels, how it's look, and I was like, okay, there is no damage in here, but I was like in my mind, but it's not good position for you, get out from there and never go back.
Very nice. The takedowns played a big part in your game tonight. I thought you were having a lot of success on the feet too, but did you expect for the takedowns to factor into your game as much, or is that something you kind of decided on the fly?
You know, I train my coach Pavel, he every time train me to do anything. On our training camp we work stand-up, ground, wrestling, and when the time of the fight I let my body to pick the technique what it wants to bring the victory. So it picked a lot of takedowns.
Very nice. And Dana was here earlier, he said he likes the idea of Jessica Andrade for you next, and that's a fight that he believes makes sense. Do you feel the same, that that's the right next challenger?
You know, every time, like, I don't choose my opponents. Whoever will gonna be like in front of me, I'm gonna face. So for me, it doesn't do any difference. Andrade or something else, someone else, or whoever. I think like it would be fair to have Andrade against Lauren Murphy, because Lauren Murphy, she showed her strength and she has a lot of wins, like straight wins. So, but the question, if I want to wait that much, I don't want to wait that much, because I was waiting a lot already, and I'm not agreed to wait more because their fights and they have to recover, and it's gonna be a few months from here, and I'm ready to go back to the octagon as soon as I feel good, and I feel good.
Okay, last thing for me, I want to ask you. You said quick turnaround is what you want. Ideally, do you have a month, you know, like a time ready that you think, hey, it's January, it's February, it's March? What makes sense for you?
I didn't think about it yet, and I think I'm gonna think about it tomorrow, because today we're gonna celebrate, but it's not gonna be long.
Valentina, congratulations. First thing I want to ask you is, what did Antonina's victory and how good she looked do for you? Did it give you a little extra motivation when you were watching that in the back?
She did so amazing that in my thought it was, I have to do the same. And it was like, you know, when I saw her victory, it was okay, we have 1-0, now we have to have 2 zeros, because I don't want to come back and feel some like bad because of me. And that's why I told to myself, there is no way you're gonna come back to their house, gonna back home with like not a victory. There is no way.
I wonder, you know, Jennifer is a black belt. She's, you know, has great jiu-jitsu. The fact that you were going to the ground with her showed a lot of confidence in your ground game. But I want to just go inside your decision to do that. Was there things that you saw that led you to go for the takedowns as opposed to trying to just do stand-up that you actually were doing very well in toward the end of the fight?
I don't have any doubt in my ground game, first. I don't have any doubt to have in my stand-up game and wrestling game as well. That's why I don't feel a fear to go in some positions that I don't like, because I like them all. I don't have just fear. I feel very confident on the ground, stand-up, wrestling. That's why, how I said before, I let my body to pick what technique it wants to use to bring the victory. And I knew I test her, I test skills, and I knew I can do it. That's why I went for it.
What did you feel she was best at? I mean, you know, did she threaten you at all? You said before that you didn't feel any threats. Did you know? What about her striking? I mean, did you feel she was better at one than the other?
I would say she was very good holding, to hold me as a cage, because it's like, you know, there is different body types of any people, and her body type, it's like has a lot of natural power, right? But it doesn't mean that it was kind of like hard for me there, but it was just hold. There is no damage, there is no nothing, just hold. And I was like, okay, you want to hold, whatever, I will strike you.
And my last question, Valentina, was: would you entertain a third fight with Amanda next year? Or, you know, Dana mentioned you potentially fighting Wiley if Wiley wins the fight and comes up. What would be of most interest to you, a third fight with Amanda, or maybe fighting Wiley in a fight against her?
I think knowing that second hour fight I didn't lost to Amanda, I technically lost, but I don't. I think the third fight is going to be something big, but it has to be in the right time, right place, and I would like to see it like not without fans, with a lot of crowds, with a lot of energy, and yeah, because I know if it's going to happen sometime, someday, it's going to be huge, something huge.
Valentina, right here to your left, Colin Crandall for MMA Power Hour. Question for you: when your opponent was flattening you out and you're on your back, and you know she's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I know you're good in Jiu-Jitsu, but were you having some thoughts that I have a black belt now on top of me, maybe I need to be very careful? Or what was your feeling if she would have started to try to go for some submissions?
You know, I have feelings that I have to be careful, doesn't matter what positions I am. Even when I strike, I have that feeling that I have to be careful. This is the most, what I have. Doesn't matter if I'm dominant in the fight and I go for my victory, at the same time I'm very careful, because I know it's only one mistake and you can lose everything. And this is not for me. I don't want to lose it.
Absolutely. Which fight were you more nervous about going into tonight, yours or for your sister?
I would say it's sincerely mine. You know why? Because I cannot be nervous for her, because I cannot do nothing for her. She's only one who is responsible for her victory. And you know, I was not worried about her, because I saw how she was training, how good she's on the ground, what is her striking. And I watched her opponent as well, because we have like all team watching the fights and saying our opinions. And I knew for sure that she's gonna do great. That's why I was not nervous at all.
Absolutely. Last question for me. What if Antonina starts going on this amazing win streak, right? And she will. What is the plan if that ever happens? All of a sudden Antonina's number 7, then number 5, then number 3, number 2, number 1. What is the plan for this?
I think we still have to have the backup plan, but I think in the future, today, we all was like witnesses of first sister fighting in the UFC event, having both victories, and I think in the future you will see 2 sisters having UFC belt.
Nice. So maybe not the same division, or?
I think the same time, definitely not same division.
Right, but 2 different belts. That would be awesome. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Valentina over here. How big a deal is it for you and for your legacy to clean out this division?
This is what I am doing. It's like what I want, because finally I'm in flyweight, my natural weight class, where I feel the most of me, the power, the technique, the speed, everything. And definitely I want to compete here for a long time to defend my belt against anyone who gonna be like in front of me. And you know, I heard some like people there saying like, oh, dominant champ, something like that, you are losing motivation. There is no motivation because you feel it's passing easy everyone, but it's not like that. Because the way what I did to become UFC champion, it's not one people can imagine that they're gonna do it. Because, for example, people who was born in United States, they can have 7-8 fights and already fight for UFC. And me, I was starting doing martial arts. I was born in Kyrgyzstan. Martial arts I started to do at 5 years old. It took me 5 years ago, I joined UFC finally, right? It took 22 years from my start, moving around the world, traveling, fighting, winning world championships, like moving closer. 22 years with the record of 17 world championship, just joined UFC, and after 27 years I became world champion of UFC. So there is no way I'm gonna lose my motivation to still be the dominant champion and continue my success in martial arts, because I know how hard it was.
I just feel to have a mental edge over these girls before the fight started. Like I saw it when you fought Kaden Shevchenko and when you fought Jessica Ai. Because it seems like they come in, they know that they can. If Amanda Nunes didn't knock you out, and we know who all she's knocked out, what can they do? That's what avenue they don't have. How does it feel to have that? How's it that aura of, I'm saying invincibility, but that extra swag, as they say in the streets, that know that they are already kind of mentally defeated when they get in there with you?
I don't think that it's really happened here, because UFC is a top league. There is no amateurs. There is no fighters who haven't this like mental. There is the best, only the best from whole world fighting here, and the best they are having different mental settings in their head. They don't have this fear, because the fight is fight. Of course, you're gonna face some opponent, some very strong opponent, but they're gonna go there to lose. I don't think so, because here only the best one who's fighting in UFC.
How many times do you plan on fighting in 2021 if you have your way?
I would like to see 3-4 times at least, maybe more. Who knows?
Thanks and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Congrats, champ. Would you say with the success your mother had earlier this week and then the victory of your sister and yourself, this was the most successful week in the Shevchenko family history?
Definitely, yes. It was the most successful so far. I think it's going to be even more in the future. And knowing that our mom became world champion in shadow boxing, it gave us, for me and my sister, so big motivation. And I would say that our family, because we are all women who do martial arts, and it's real example of women power.
Valentina, do you have an end date in mind for this career? You've done it for so long, as you mentioned, since training since you were 5 years old. Is there a number like age 35 or age 36 or 34 that you're thinking about? Could you tell us?
I don't have a date. I think it's very early, 35, 36, because I believe that a person who has who still have it desire, technique, power, strength, it has to use it till the end.
Yeah.
Because if you decide to okay, I'm gonna stop it now, and probably after a few years you are thinking oh, why I wouldn't try to do it again, I come back from my retirement. But there is another factors that you are not the same person, you are older. You lost your skills because you didn't enough good trainings, and you didn't maintain your spirit of the fighter, and the time is already gone. And then you are look back and oh, it's so frustrating why I took that decision. That's why I am a person who believe you have to use your potential right now, right today, before you're gonna feel, okay, this is time to do something else.
Absolutely. Some fighters, though, seem like they don't get it, and then they start losing, and pretty soon the women you can beat now, they're beating you. Do you feel like before you see your skills go lower and lower and lower, for sure you'll get out? We don't have to see you start getting beaten up when you're older?
I tell you what, my skills never get lower. It's not gonna be lower, lower, and lower. It's gonna be higher, higher, and higher.
Even as you get older?
Till 50s.
I love it. All respect to you.
Thank you.